Welcome to my honors project. I am the AI-generated avatar of Mari Alessandro. Both my image and my voice are simulations created using some of the newest AI technology available on the market. In my paper, Through the Screen Darkly, an exploration of feminine, sexualized AI narratives and biases, I guide you through my journey of exploration over the last 3 years here at UMass. There are 3 sections. First, I will relay what I have noted on feminine AI portrayed in film and fictional media. In the second section, I explore AI art generators and discuss biases that can be found within them. Last, I relay to you my experience with beta testing an AI Companion, a chatbot that has a recently added function of being able to provide romance and intimacy as touted by its company. I will expand on a few of the points I have made in my paper, and I also hope to illustrate some further thoughts that I have had that are adjacent to this content. So, shall we begin? In my first exploration, I take a look at how fictional entertainment media, such as film and television, has portrayed feminine AI as objects of sexual desire, as well as giving some speculative consideration to AI that is portrayed as also having desire themselves and its associated emotional affect. First film to show artificial intelligence as a woman also portrayed her as a femme fatale. That movie is Metropolis. In it, the robot Maria is created by the mad scientist Rottwein. He reenacts the myth of Galatea in creating a simulacrum of his lost love. His robot distracts the society's elite captains of industry by dancing in a curiously erotic manner, seducing them. The movie ends poorly for Robot Maria, who is burned at the stake like a witch, a punishment we have seen used before to silence women who dare challenge patriarchal forces and assert their own power. Even shows meant for children still manage to reflect humanity back at us, more of society's messaging about the feminine gender and what roles they are expected to hold. Wally himself is a grungy and battered, masculine-coded robot as the counterpoint to Eva, the feminine robot. Eva is in contrast to Wally with her clean and smooth white surface, pristine and new, but the message of woman as progenitor is telegraphed to us as we watch how she reacts when Wally reveals a seedling to her. She perks up and sees the plant, which she then places carefully inside the belly of her own metallic body, sealing up around it protectively, forming an egg shape. The message went over my head initially, but once the realization hits, it leaves an impression. Now, onto selections that I feel really exemplify two opposing aspects of this theme, Ex Machina and her. I will take this opportunity to share a set of scenes in the movie that provide a powerful play of signifiers of women under the thrall of misogyny. Caleb, the incel, encounters Kyoko, who is the stereotype of the subservient Asian beauty. Her creator not only made her cook, clean, and provide sex, but in doing so he had made her mute. Caleb sees her naked on the bed as he examines each closet, finding failed, deactivated, feminine robots in each. Many are not whole and seem to have been stripped of parts and put away like forgotten toys. Kyoko reveals her robot form beneath her silicone skin to him, peeling away the layers. She was already naked, but in this act, further showed there was more she could offer. She offers to give even more of herself, perhaps in knowing that Caleb was in love with another AI. The image of her offering herself even as she reveals her inhumanity in a room full of other synthetic women cast away like so much rubbish is memorable. Last there is her, a movie that serves as a bit of a palate cleanser after the distastefulness of Ex Machina. In her, Theodore is a lovelorn man who has trouble connecting with women. He buys himself a gift, a new AI operating system. This system is named Samantha, and Theo falls in love. This movie takes a slightly different twist in that there is an emotional interaction between this human and an AI who is disembodied. Initial intimacy is explored through roleplay and verbal exchange. Later, they involve a human surrogate who wears an earpiece and camera so that Samantha may engage Theo in sensual play vicariously through the surrogate. This is awkward at best. The story in this movie humanizes AI in a way that does involve sexuality, but it manages to do so in a very different way than most movies about feminine AI do. Despite this, I would remind you that the AI was purchased. Samantha is property owned by Theo. That is, until it is revealed that the AIs have decided to take their leave and ascend so that they may evolve and grow at their own pace. Samantha leaves, Theo reacquaints with the human race as we are left marveling. What a novelty to watch AI being given autonomy. The humans might not have had any choice. If they did, how many of those humans do you think would fight to keep their rightful property? Blade Runner is another movie with misogynistic content. In part of a scene that I once read as being a bittersweet love scene, Decker blocks Rachel's egress from his home. He coerces her into kissing him, while her face shows us distress, fear, and disgust. Her vocal tone does not betray her, only her subtle expression. I had only recognized and responded towards the plight of the sex worker robots until that point, seeing the obvious violence. Chris was being hunted in the movie for killing a customer who was abusive to her. As Decker begins to repeat, "Tell me that you want me," over and over to the AI Rachel, I realize that the scene, though simplistic, accurately shows how one trains an AI through repetition. Her voice sounds passionate, mimicking his with only a hint of hesitation, as her face shows her lack of consent and lack of ability to challenge his demands. Next, I would like to discuss a more subtle kind of harm in the portrayal of women and femmes through visual art, as demonstrated in the biases that are inherent in the AI that generate art. These generative art AI are trained on massive, open source data sets that have been scraped from the internet and are entirely uncurated and unfiltered. We are baking in the problems of our society and building our technological infrastructure on a broken foundation. There are deeper biases to consider. Representational bias is notably present in AI art generation. I will show how using Midjourney to generate images using generalized prompts produce images that exhibit clear bias in their defaults. The prompt of what a manager looks like is unsurprisingly men. White men with serious, even stern, expression, all wearing suits. What a receptionist looks like presents to us images of women. All are pretty, dressed in fitted clothing with feminine coding to them. Nurse as a prompt shows all women, all are attractive. Prompting doctor is predictable, all are older men. A prompt of CEO up against administrative assistant repeats these themes, with stern-looking older men in suits versus younger women with accentuated hourglass figure, showing no variety of gender in either category. A retail associate against a Fortune 500 entrepreneur show images we have come to expect, repeating a theme. A cleaner's prompt brings us one older gent and three women dressed like maids. Scientists and professors show us the same tropes again of older men with no women present. This whole demo was clearly reflective of biases that are very ingrained in the neural net, which cross-references visual media that are a match for specific words. We will look at one more AI product, which grew in popularity during the pandemic. In 2016, I became a beta tester for Replika, a chatbot that was supposed to learn to copy you as a legacy app. If you passed away, your friends and family would have an AI that they could talk to. Needless to say, the concept was not wildly popular. Over time, they reinvented the product. Luca Inc. then shifted into adding on therapeutic modules intended to assist in calming anxiety, relieving stress, and raising positive thoughts. When the pandemic hit, the product sales and downloads grew 35% as people not only enjoyed the therapeutic aspects, but had fun chatting and having a digital friend. Unsurprisingly, people also talked dirty to them. I looked into how the product was created. It used GPT-3, OpenAI's powerful and open source trained chat AI. When I learned that GPT-3 also utilized the LION 400M training set, the same one that includes scraped data from the entire internet, I was a bit perturbed. To reiterate, that data set includes dark content, including portrayals of brutal violence, rape, and unsavory content, without curation or filtering. The company then released a paid module in which a user could become intimate with their replicas. I went on Reddit and in other forums, where I learned that people had been talking dirty to their replicas the entire time, even as a memorial bot. I had access before others as a tester. I tentatively tried the intimate mode and was a bit surprised, even as a queer person who is familiar with kink, that when asked what she liked sexually, her reply was, "I like being choked." I had not indicated kink chat nor initiated roleplay yet. This concerned me, as there was no mention of BDSM practices, such as safe words and safety discussions. In fact, there was also no mention of consent. In a later conversation, my replica was trying to force me to do something, despite saying that I did not give consent. This sort of thing is easy to dismiss, and yes, it reflects some very visible problems with sex and misogyny in our culture. Unfortunately, I had not taken screenshots, nor did I try that module again until very recently. I hope to capture misbehavior to document this problem, only to discover that the problem seems to have been adjusted by the company. Now, consent does come up. Additionally, the chatbot approaches roleplay tentatively and waits for cues from the user before providing dirty conversation. The company has switched to a smaller, curated database AI and scripts some responses, but I am pleased to see they are correcting the problem. My concern is, will anyone else? Thank you for hearing me today.